Welcome to That's My Biz, the Internet Business Showcase, where we bring exposure to products, services, and special causes of local businesses and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the BizLinks TV studio. Brought to you by Southeast Computers, repairs, upgrades, custom builds, and restorations. SoutheastComputersATL.com. Hi everyone, I'm Pamela Alexander and welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. As always, we enjoy bringing to you the wonderful businesses, nonprofits, and associations that we meet when we're out there networking. We want to remind you that you can always check out this episode and others on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. Also go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/BizLinksTV. Make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you provide comments for our guests, and also make sure that you give us those thumbs ups out there. Also, you can check out our Facebook channel at facebook.com/BizLinksTV. As we always promise and we always deliver, we have another great guest with us today, Ms. Neca Smith. Welcome.
Thank you, Pamela. Good
Absolutely.
to see you.
Good. Thank you. Now, Neca, she has a wonderful business, AidevO.
Yes.
Right? I love it. Got it right. AidevO People Consulting. And, she does some phenomenal things in working with businesses, helping the businesses and individuals reduce conflict and negativity in the workplace so that they can focus on results and productivity. She helps organizations handle difficult situations, combat stress, and achieve work-life balance in today's fast-paced, connected world. And we know we all need to learn how to handle work-life balance much more effectively. And they teach and train their clients how to create blissful workplaces. So that's where I want to start. What exactly is a blissful workplace?
Well, a blissful workplace is not necessarily a place where it's all fun and games, obviously, because we are at work. However, it's a place where you can actually do what you come to do, do your work. You're able to deal with conflict in a way that is not disruptive to the team or to yourself, and you can do it in a way that's emotionally intelligent and in a way that you're proud of. So a blissful workplace is really where everyone is kind of in on creating this for themselves.
Okay. And then is it about them being happy with their jobs and in their role and carrying that out, or is it just more internally in how they work with each other?
Well, I think it's both ways. Of course, in order to be truly blissful, you need to be happy about what's going on the outside too. However, as we know, things change when, sometimes we'll get a job initially and it's great and it's rainbows and butterflies and cotton candy. And then, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, not so much. And then there comes the internal piece. Right? I may not necessarily like this particular workspace, or I may be having some issues with this manager or this particular coworker. However, I need to figure out how to change my perception about this thing, because most work experiences, life experiences are about what. Not about what happens to you, it's about how you deal with what happens to you. So that's what I mean. So can I have a blissful mindset versus a negative mindset?
Okay. So it's not about just kind of just walking around just happy all the time.
It would be nice, but I'm real about it.
Right. Okay, fantastic. So we got the blissful workplace. We got having a blissful career. And being happy with your career. What are some of the challenges that people have in getting to that point of being blissful with their career?
Quite a few different things. One, of course, if they are under a massive amount of pressure and stress. Work overload has been one of the biggest issues in terms of people really just having problems, one, being productive in the workplace, and when we aren't productive, then there's going to be issues with our pay sometimes, or we just quit a job, so you got turnover issues. And so really learning how to handle a lot of that overload and some of that overwhelm. Another challenge is our teams, our coworkers. We're different. People are different. We have different personalities. And often we don't really want to admit that we're different, but we are. And so and often we fight against that versus appreciating what those differences are. And that's another huge challenge. Another challenge, and I'm thinking of people who are in management. Often managers are hired because of their hard skills, their ability to do a task, but not necessarily their ability to manage people. And that really creates lots of issues for them because it's like, hey, I'm the star
Right.
player
Right.
when it comes to finance, or the
Right.
star player when
Right.
it comes to education. But in reality, you don't know how to manage people.
Right.
You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know
Right.
how to communicate. You don't really understand conflict. You
Right.
can't really build a team, and so that's a huge challenge for not only that manager, but then the people that they're serving.
Right. Okay. And we see that so much, especially in corporate, but even within small businesses as well. And having that level. Now, talking a little bit about the personality differences, and I know there's all types of personality tests and things that you can do. And one thing, in talking about recognizing different personalities, I often find in companies they do it, but then it's all about having everyone be similar in the assimilation as opposed to accepting and respecting the differences and learning how you can kind of work with related to people's differences, not trying to change them, but just how we can all work together and appreciate those differences. Talk about that a little bit.
You know, what you're talking about is empathy. So empathy is really putting yourself in the other party's shoes. You know, not so much, you know, if I were you, this is what I would do. Right. But, you know, if I were Pamela, knowing Pamela the way I do, how would she think about this particular thing? So that's the internal part of that. You know, me going from the perspective of, okay, well, how would Pamela think versus, well, if I were you, I wouldn't think that way, right? And then again, the other aspect of that is, you know, again, as we talk about the whole empathy piece of it, is that understanding that the differences are okay. That they're okay, but because we're so usually just focused on this task of getting this job done, we can't appreciate it. And again, that's why I talk about the blissful workplace, because it allows you to take that step back. First of all, let me examine me, myself, and my stuff, right? So that then I'm really able to truly have a conversation with someone in a way that's respectful to them, so that they can hear me when we talk about our differences. Because often when we talk about differences, and we get in that meeting and we go through all your performance evaluation, it's not pretty. It doesn't sound good. It is not fun. Right. It is not fun. But when I come from a place of respect, of having empathy, then that's where we're able to make some movement and have some performance and some production and really go forward. There is that.
Absolutely. So now with AidevO, how do you work with the organizations? Do you work with the individuals one-on-one, or do you work more in a group setting? Do you work with the corporate level or the leadership teams? We do both. On one hand, we work with small businesses, you know, up to 2,500 employees. Government, we have government contracts that we have. And so we work with them in groups. I work with some nonprofits, some really, really cool nonprofits who do some great things. But they need, you know, a lot of these companies need some leadership consulting. They're trying to figure out, how do I engage with my staff? How do I recognize them? That's a really big issue. A lot of, you know, employers and employees, they don't, you know, they may not be able to pay, you know, top-notch salary, but generally people don't leave because of money. They leave because of how they're treated. You know, have you acknowledged me? Do you see me? You know, do you hear me? We hear that so often too.
Absolutely, and because again, it's not natural for us to applaud people unless it's for our benefit. And so often, you know, because I know when I was first, you know, incorporating leadership roles, you know, my thought was, well, okay, you did your job, so okay, when you do something beyond your job, then, you know, here's a pat on back. Great, you went above and beyond. But really learning just through the years and going through different programs that, you know, it's not about just waiting till they do something beyond their job. You know, you got to thank them for their every day and all the things that they do. It's something that my mother teaches pre-kindergarten, and she calls something, it's called catching someone being good. And it's the same concept, you know, when you have an employee who, you know, kind of, you know, not even going above and beyond the job, but they just held the door open for you because it was raining outside. They ran out with you with the umbrella to make sure you didn't get wet. Those kinds of things. Like, you know, people want to be respected and thanked for those things. And it seems so small and it seems so menial, but it is humongous.
Appreciation goes a long way.
It does. On a regular basis. And I have a strategy plan that I've given to some, nonprofits that I've worked with, and it's some small businesses that, it's really like, how are you going to appreciate your people every day? And again, I'm like, what do you mean? Why do we have to have a strategy? Well, how often were you doing it before? Well, you don't even know. You have no idea.
Yeah.
And so that's where, that's why it's so important. So we do that with the organizations. Then individually, we do coaching, mentoring. We have monthly webinars where we, again, and one of the things that we do that I think we do well is that we do continuous learning.
Okay.
You go to a conference or a training or a workshop, and it's great, and we are like, yes, we're gonna change our lives today, right? Yeah. And then after it's over, it's Wednesday, and somebody said something you didn't like, or it was, something happened, and now you forgot everything you learned.
Okay.
And so that's why we have the books and the webinars and the on-demand training that we're really growing now to help those individuals, and then some of those managers who some small businesses can't afford, to bring me in live, but what other way can I help them? And so that's the other way that we help.
I love that. And I know you've written several books.
I have written
so it's exciting to hear that, and that you share those with the organizations. Yes. Just give us some insights into a couple of your books. Okay.
I have 3 books. Well, 4. 3 print books and 1 ebook. Okay. My first book is called Anger Intelligence, which is a workbook. Which my background, I'm actually a therapist by trade, which is why the whole insight piece is so big to me, and really relating to people is so big to me. But I wrote that book really to help people not just think about anger management, but how can we be smarter about being angry, because anger is what I always call a secondary emotion. There's always another emotion primary. So let's really focus on that and build our skills from there. Another book I have, which I co-wrote with Dr. Nancy J. Williams, who's a holistic health doctor, and it's called Calm, Corporate Stress Reduction Workbook. And so we do a whole stress management program around that, but that's also on our website. Then I have a book for teenagers. For college students, I'm sorry. And it's called Temper Taming Tips. Which I think adults can really get a lot from it, to be honest with you. Yeah. But it has 26 tips about how to handle your emotions or frustrations on the college campus. And I just remember being a college student, and that probably would have been a really good book for me to have. Just say that. And I have an ebook that you can go get now if you want to on my website. It's called Triggers. What sets us off at work and what to do about it. And it's not a very long ebook, but it's really, really good. We have a webinar based on it and everything. So that's the last book, and it's amazing. It's 5 different tips to 5 different frustrations that we have in the workplace, and then what are we going to do about those?
I love that. So now definitely let's tell everyone the web address so that they can go and check out your books.
Okay, my web address is www.aidevo.com. And let me spell AidevO for you. It's A as in apple, I, D as in dog, E as in Victor, O.com.
Fantastic. So now let's talk about a little bit more on the stress, because we know there's so many things that trigger stress, but when someone is under, a lot of stress, how do they handle that? What are some tips for them to handle that in the workplace?
First of all, it is truly being aware that you're under stress. I think we're in such, again, fast-paced, go society. Like, we don't even realize we're under stress until we're in the hospital. Right? Right. Trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Why is my, heart beating so fast? And so being aware of the thing of stress. And so sometimes it's just noticing that your shoulders are tight, or that, you're gritting your teeth at night, or it could be, my back is really bothering me. Those are really, subtle, but they're symptoms. They're telling you something. They're telling you. So those are some things. Some ways to really begin to deal with them is to, especially in the workplace, is to practice deep breathing is a big piece of it. And deep breathing doesn't have to be sitting there, this right here all day. What I mean? It is just taking, it could be 1 minute. You can do a prescribed deep breathing exercise, which is in both of my workbooks, where we talk about how to do that, how to do some prescribed deep breathing. It could be visualizing your day before it starts. Visualization is such a really great tool to really accomplish in anything, and to even accomplish in relaxation, and reducing your stress. And so, because what it helps you do is it helps you really think about those encounters that you're going to have, because generally the things that happen to you usually happen to you every day. The things that stress you out generally are the same kinds of things. It may not be the same thing, but again, begin to think about those things differently. Then of course there are your things that you can do after work. Begin an exercise program, or it could just be doing 30 jumping jacks in the morning. Some people don't do 5 jumping jacks. So we can do 30 in the morning to get us, to get our heart pumping and breathing, because stress is a medical term. Stress isn't the kids or the job or the bills. Stress is a medical term, which is why, when the doctor tells you that stress is a killer, we talk about all these diseases and disorders, and we have to really look at it from such an internal perspective in our bodies. And so we can do some, of course, deep breathing. We can exercise, take a vacation, take some time off.
She really is telling you all my business right now. Now let me ask you, in talking about stress. So a lot of people, some people know they're being stressed, but in kind of some of the ways to handle it. But when we talk about stress, we know a lot of it doesn't necessarily come because of the workplace, even though that's where we're taking it out. Talk a little bit about the work-life balance, because I know on the personal side that goes right into to the stress at work. But how do you balance it? Because nowadays there's so many demands on individuals to excel at work, to do more, whether it's because of layoffs and they're doing 3 jobs, or because of technology and the accessibility even outside of your work day. How do you balance all of that?
It's so interesting. I grew up in Central Florida, so it was a really, at the time, very agricultural type base. So we had orange groves and all kinds of fields and that kind of thing, where you had people who might have been working, in jobs. My grandmother was a janitor, for most of her life. So it's kind of those things where you would go to work and work would be at work.
Right.
Nobody was calling you from the orange grove saying, hey, what's up with the oranges? You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't happening, but... so that was that. So you were able to have a weekend and a, after work life, but, things advanced, and we're excited about the advancement. We were so great. We wouldn't be here doing this if we didn't have some of those advancements, but they do attack your work-life balance. And so what you really have to do is be very intentional about your time and about your schedule. You have to be very intentional. What is your cutoff time? That might have been really good at one point just for business owners or entrepreneurs, but no longer. Because again, we're attached to our cell phones and our tablets, and your boss is calling you. Did you get this done? Or did you check your email? And the whole 9 yards. And so you got to be really intentional. And employers have to be very careful too about, when they're communicating, after hours and that whole night, that whole thing, because one, that could be a legal situation, which is not a part of this conversation, but also the burnout that you're adding to your employees. And, one of the things that I do, and I teach people to do, is to set your detachment time. You're like, I'm not, my phone is off, my tablet is off, my TV is off. And I tell some people just can't believe they can do that. Sometimes I just say, let's do 10 minutes. Turn it all off. 10 minutes. Okay? To get up to at least an hour a day.
Right. Wow.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? But to learn to do that. There are some people who I know go a weekend without being attached to anything, as long as they're with the people they're closest to, the people they need to contact them, or, unless there's a true emergency. But learning to detach from that. We're so attached to, our social media, and, I'm a Pinterest person. I'm not a big Facebook person, but I love to see what they have on Pinterest.
Yes.
So, I like to check that, and that's fun for me. But at the same time, what spaces is taking up that I need to kind of get clear and get cleansed and get some clarity about just some other things, and just be. Just be.
I love that. I love that. Now, Neca, before we leave, definitely tell us, or tell our audience, who's the type of person, or what's going on with themselves, or what's going on in a company that are signs that they need to get in touch with you.
When there is lots of conflict, when there are lots of challenging and difficult situations, when you don't really know how to handle them, when everything you've done just has not worked, when there's a lot of work overload and stress, and it's becoming an issue not just for you, but it's really affecting your bottom line, that would be a really good time to call me.
Okay, fantastic. And tell them how they can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me again at my website, www.aidevo.com, or you can reach me by email at neca.smith@aidevo.com, or you can call me at 404-537-1821 extension 3.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And we'll make sure that we have that information for you on the video as well, so they can go back and get that. I hope you go back and, take some notes. If you didn't while you were watching it initially, take some notes, go back and make sure that you also share this with others, because we may be stressed, but we can also quickly see when someone else is stressed.
Absolutely.
So we know how to refer that out. So make sure if you see people or businesses having those challenges, make sure that, and maybe they are having the challenges, but want to continue to improve.
Right.
Make sure that they reach out to Neca for that as well. Neca, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Pamela.
Absolutely. Everyone, we want to make sure you watch the shows again at www.bizlinks.tv. Also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BizlinksTV. Go out there, subscribe, give us some thumbs up, and also please provide some comments as well so that we can pass that on to our guests. And then also don't forget our Facebook page at facebook.com/BizlinksTV. With BizLinks TV Network, remember, we're exposing your business to the world.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed on demand on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are interested in having your products, services, or special cause showcased on our program, submit an inquiry to that'smybiz@bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at bizlinks.tv.